In last video, we solved all examples. Here is the list of all questions. All of these questions have been taken from R.D. Sharma book, first chapter real numbers exercise 1.1. In this session, we will try to prove all these questions based on Euclid's division lemma. Let's understand question 1. We have to take two positive consecutive integers. That means if first number is 3, then second number is 4. If first number is 10, then second number is 11. If first number is 25, then second number is 26. And here we have to take their product. That means we will multiply these two numbers. Here 3 into 4 is 12 and 12 is divisible by 2. 10 into 11 is 110, which is divisible by 2. 25 into 26 is 650, which is divisible by 2. That's the thing we have to prove. Let n be any positive number, then obviously n plus 1 will be its next number. Because we have to take two consecutive integers, then their product is n into n plus 1. By multiplying them, we get n square plus n. That means we will check n square plus n is divisible by 2 or not. According to Euclid's division lemma, n is equal to 2q or 2q plus 1. Because here we have to divide n square plus n by 2. That's why we have taken 2q or 2q plus 1. In case first, n is 2q. That means n square is 2q whole square. And again n is equal to 2q. Here 2q whole square is 4q square and 2q will be unchanged. Here in these two terms 2 can be taken as common. Now 2q square plus q can be considered as r because 2q square plus q can be any number but 2 will always be in the multiplication form. That means 2 divides n square plus n. Now case 2 is n is equal to 2q plus 1. We will take the copy of first case and we will add 1 in 2q because here we have 2q plus 1. Here 2q plus 1 whole square is 4q square plus 4q plus 1 and 2q plus 1 is unchanged. Now 4q square can be written without any changing. 4q plus 2q is 6q and 1 plus 1 is 2. From these three terms 2 can be taken as common. We can consider this whole term as a single term r and eventually we find that n square plus n is divisible by 2. Hence the product of two consecutive positive integers is divisible by 2. Let's see next question. This question is exactly same to the last question. Let's take that last example to understand it. Here we have to take product of three consecutive integers. That means we will take another number which is next to these numbers. And here we have 3, 4 and 5 and their product is 60. And we have 10, 11 and 12 and their product is 13, 20. Also we have 25, 26 and 27 and their product is 17,550. Now you can see all of these three numbers are divisible by 6. You can check it by yourself. That means if n is first number, then n plus 1 will be next number and n plus 2 be third number. And it is given that product of these three numbers is divisible by 6. That's why we will have 6 forms of n. We will get n cube plus 3n square plus 3n after multiplying these three numbers. That means we will have 6 cases. Let's check case 1. The product of these three numbers is given. Now we will put 6q in place of n. Now the whole term is multiplied by 6. That means the product of these three numbers is divisible by 6. Let's see case 2. This time we will add 1 in 6q because here n is equal to 6q plus 1. And we can multiply these three numbers to get our answer. But there is a shortcut method. Here in this term 2 is common and in this term 3 is common. So we will take them common. And 2 into 3 is 6. And 6 is the number which we want to be as a factor. So there is no need to do anything else. You got your answer. Here 6 is dividing this whole number. Let's see case 3. This time n is equal to 6q plus 2. We can put the value of n in first equation. Also we can put n in any of these equations. And we will get our answer. But first equation will give the result sooner than other two equations. That's why we will take it. Now we can write 6q plus 2 in place of n. N is in the multiplication form. That's why we will put a bracket to show that they are multiplying each other. Again we will take 6q plus 2 in place of n. And also we will add 1 because it is given. And we will put the whole number in brackets. Again we will write 6q plus 2 in place of n. And we will add 2 as given. Now in this term 2 plus 1 is 3. So we can take it as common. After taking 3 as common, here 2 will left and here 1 left. Now in this term 2 can be taken as common. We can write 3 in place of 6 and 1 in place of 2. You can also take 2 common from last term. It's your choice. We can shift 3 near 2 as a multiplier and we get 2 into 3 is equal to 6. So in case 3, the product of 3 consecutive positive integers is divisible by 6. Some students may ask, what if I could not be able to find out 2 and 3 as common, like this case? Then what will we do? Let's see, can we do anything else to get 6 as a factor? These two numbers are 3 and these two numbers are 4. Now if we don't get the idea to take 2 common from these two terms and 3 from this term, then we can use old method to prove this question. Numbers inside first bracket can be multiplied by numbers inside second bracket. That method must be in your mind. By this number 6q, we will multiply these two numbers, and again by 2 we will multiply these two numbers, and then we will get these numbers. 6q plus 4 can be written without any changing. As we put 6q plus 4 in next equation, we will put this whole number in brackets, because all of these numbers are multiplied by 6q plus 4. 18q plus 12q is 30q, because power of their variables is same. Again we will multiply these three terms by 6q and 4 also, and hence we get these numbers. We can arrange the terms together which have same variables. By adding these two terms, we get 324q, and these two terms are 156. Now 6 can be taken common from these terms, but you can see this method is quite long, and the last method was a shortcut. You saw that 6 can be taken as common by long method also. And here you get a very important rule of mathematics, that is, whatever method you will use to get the answer, but the answer will always be unique. A student can arrive to his destination by his own way, other can take another way to reach his destination, and third can also take long way to reach his destination. That means there are many ways to prove a single question, and answer will be same for all. Now it's up to you whether you are taking long way or a shortcut. We study hard so that we can get good marks in final board exams. But how would you feel if examiner comes and grabs your answer sheet and takes it away from you? Because now time is over, you cannot write anymore. There are still some questions left to solve, and also you know their answers, but there is no time left to solve them. That means you were able to get 95% in your subject, but the fact is you are getting only 70% marks. You know what was your fault. You used long way instead of shortcuts. And that's the reason students are afraid of mathematics. Let's assume you were solving a question and you made a mistake in middle and then continued working on it. Now that one mistake leads you to a wrong direction and you will get a wrong answer. That means you will have to start solving that question from the beginning, and all your time and effort spent on that question is now useless. That's the reason you should always take shortcuts to solve a question, because if you made any mistake, and I am sure you will make mistakes during examination, at that moment you will have enough time to start solving that question. And remember, don't skip any step in attempt to take a shortcut. Your answer sheet checker will get upset and he can reduce your marks. In case 3, we proved that the product of 3 consecutive integers is divisible by 6. But still we have 3 cases left to check, and we will check it one by one. In case 4, let's take 3 common from this term and also take 2 common from this term, and hence we get 6. In 5th case, we can take 6 common from this single term and we get 6 as a factor. Also we can get 6 common in 6th case as we did before. And hence we proved that product of 3 consecutive integers is divisible by 6 in all of these 6 cases. But what if we take the form of 3 instead of 6? That means we get 3q plus 1 and 3q plus 2. Any number which is divisible by 6 is always divisible by 2 and 3. We saw in the following cases that 2 and 3 were the factors of the whole product. That means it is divisible by 2 and 3 also. Let's check, can we prove this question by taking 3? We have taken 3 forms, 3q plus 1 and 3q plus 2. Product of 3 consecutive integers is n into n plus 1 into n plus 2. That is given in the question. In first case, we will take n is equal to 3q. In this form, only 3 is common. In second case, we will take 3q plus 1. Also here, 3 can be taken common from 3q plus 3. Again, only 3 is common in third case. You can multiply numbers inside brackets and we get 27q to the power 3 plus 27q square plus 6q. Here you can't take 6 as common. That means we cannot prove this question by taking 3. Also we cannot prove this question by taking 2. But why we are not getting our answer? Here everything is alright, no mistake has been done. Let's investigate more. Something may be found out. I have taken n is equal to 1 and the product of 3 consecutive numbers is 6, which is divisible by 6. If n is equal to 2, the product is 24, which is divisible by 6. If n is 3, the product is 60, which is divisible by 6. That means any number can be taken as n, and n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 will always be divisible by 3 and 6. In third case, we have 3q plus 2 and these are 3 consecutive numbers. When q is equal to 1, we get 5 into 6 into 7, which is 210. And 6 is also a factor. That means this whole number has a factor 6. That tells that this number is divisible by 6. The summary is, we have taken the form of 3 and still we get 6 as factor. That shows the whole number is divisible by 6. But you can see clearly, we can take only 3 as common. There is no way to extract 6 as common. That means we know 6 is a factor. But by taking the form of 3, we can't get 6. When q is equal to 2, we get 8 into 9 into 10, which is 720. Here 9 has a factor 3 but not 6. Still we can see 720 is divisible by 6. That means again this number is divisible by 6, but we cannot extract 6 as a factor from these given terms. That tells us about a mistake which you should never do when solving a question. That means always pick up the right divisor, and in this case right divisor is 6, not 3. See this question. We have already proved it. We have taken divisor 3 and got these 3 forms which contains 3. By these 3 forms we can show each and every integer, and we had already seen that between these 3 numbers only one number is divisible by 3. But imagine if we had taken the form of 4, because each and every integer can also be represented by these 4 forms. n plus 2 and n plus 4 was given in the question. Let's take n is equal to 4q. Then n plus 2 is 4q plus 2 and n plus 4 is 4q plus 4. If q is 1, then n is 4 and n plus 2 is 6 and n plus 4 is 8. If q is 2, then n is 8. n plus 2 is 10 and n plus 4 is 12. When q is 3, then n is 12, n plus 2 is 14 and n plus 4 is 16. Here we have taken q as 1, 2 and 3, and in first case we have 6, which is divisible by 3. That means only one out of n plus 2 and n plus 4 is divisible by 3. In second case we have 12, which is divisible by 3. Again only one out of n plus 2 and n plus 4 is divisible by 3. In third case only 12 is divisible by 3. So what did you understand? Let me explain it. By taking these 4 forms, we saw that only one out of these 3 numbers is divisible by 3. That tells you can take the form of 4. There is nothing wrong. But you would not be able to take 3 as common, because there is a problem. When we take these 4 forms, 3 can never be taken common from 4. And that was the reason behind taking 3 as divisor. So always remember to choose right divisor. That leads us to prove our question. And in this case, right divisor is 3, not 4. I hope all your doubts are clear. Now let's jump to the next question. That is question 3. I think we have already solved a question based on this one, and that was example 3. In this case, we have the divisor 4, and the latest question that we have been asked has divisor 6. Both are same. Only one difference is numbers, which is 4 and 6. So do it yourself. Let's see question 4. I think this question is familiar to you. Example 12 is the same type of question, and example 13 is the exact same question. Everything is similar, nothing has been changed, so do it by yourself. But if you find any difficulty during solving this question, you can comment me. I will make another video to prove it. Let's see next question. I think you have already proved this question also. This question is similar to example 4. In our question, we have to prove 8q plus 1, and we have already proved example 4, which had 4q plus 1. If you can see, you have already proved question 5 in example 4. By these 2 forms, we can show each and every positive odd integer. So we have taken their squares. Here in these 2 terms, 2 can be taken as common, and you will get 8 outside the brackets. That means you got 8q plus 1, which we have been asked to prove. In second case, we can take 2 as common from these 3 terms, and we get 8 outside brackets. And hence we get 8q plus 1. That means we can take 4 as divisor and we will get our answer. And also remember, if you can't get 4 as divisor, you can take 8. That means you will have 8 cases. In these 8 forms, 4 forms are odd and 4 forms are even. So you will have to prove 4 cases which are odd. So do it yourself. Let's jump to the next question. We have already proved this question also. Question 6 is similar to example 5. You can take divisor as 4, so you will have 4 cases to prove. You can also try to prove this question by taking 2 as divisor. But why 2? Because 2 square gives 4, that is our requirement. So do it yourself. Let's see next question. I think this question is different. I can't leave it for you. We will have to prove it together. But I think this question is similar to example 8 and example 9. There is a minor difference between these questions, but the approach to solve these questions is same. You can prove this question by yourself if you have already understood these examples. But I think there is another way to prove it. Let's see how. We have n cube minus n. We can take n common from these two terms. So we get n into n square minus 1. 1 can be written as 1 square. Now you can see n square minus 1 square is based on formula of a square minus b square. That is a plus b into a minus b. Now n can be written without any changing. And n square minus 1 square is n plus 1 into n minus 1. But what is the need to do this? Let's take n is equal to 1. Then n plus 1 will be 2 and n minus 1 will be 0. We can also change their position because they are in multiplication form. Let's take n as 2. So n plus 1 is 3 and n minus 1 is 1. That means we can shift n minus 1 at first position. Now 0, 1 and 2 are 3 consecutive positive integers. Also 1, 2 and 3 are 3 consecutive positive integers. That means n minus 1 is first number, n is second number and n plus 1 is third number. Now let's see question 2. You can relate that these two questions are similar to our question. n plus 1 and n plus 2 are 3 consecutive integers. And in our question, n minus 1, n and n plus 1 are 3 consecutive integers. I think this question is now more comfortable for you. This n cube minus n was the main issue, which we break down into n minus 1, n and n plus 1. So what are you waiting for? Just prove it by yourself. Let's end this session. See you soon.